If you are watching this video for the first time, make sure you are subscribing to Anantha Lakshmi Academy. Once you click on the subscribe button, you will see a bell icon. If you click on that bell and click on all, you will get to know whenever I upload a video. This will send you a notification. Hello everybody, welcome back to Anantha Lakshmi Academy. This is video statistics part 4, in which we are going to discuss the graphical representation of frequency distribution. Alright, so let me write the heading. Graphical representation of frequency distribution, which is nothing but our cumulative frequency. Alright, so what are we going to learn in this video is, earlier in the earlier classes, 9th standard, wherein you first heard the statistics, you are familiar with the words histogram, frequency polygon, frequency curve and all, right? So that is a graphical representation which we have done in our earlier standard. Today we are going to learn a new graphic representation which is known as ogive. What is it? Ogive. Okay, this is ogive, looks like ogive, but its pronunciation is ogive. Okay, we are going to draw ogives. What are ogives? Ogives are nothing but the cumulative frequency graphs. What are we going to draw? How are we going to draw? If we are going to draw a graph with upper boundaries and cumulative frequency on y-axis, then the curve is going to be like this. Okay, I'll explain it more while solving the exercise problems. So for now, look at the concept. If you figure out a graph, if you draw a graph between upper boundaries and cumulative frequencies, this is how the graph goes, which is nothing but, this is known as less than ogive. What is this? Less than ogive. If you look at this, this is like similarly in the shape of S, wherein this is a concave lens turning into a convex lens. Looks like physics, right? No. So this is a ogive, meaning is nothing but a concave lens then becoming a convex lens. That is the meaning of this ogive, and hence they named it as ogive here. Okay, this is the word somewhere used in around 14th or 15th century. So this is about less than ogive. Alright, then we have one more curve, more than ogive. This is the reason I was stressing in statistics part 3, less than cumulative frequency, more than cumulative frequency. Alright, so this is about more than ogive. Now we are going to learn about more than ogive. How is the graph for this? Here we consider the lower boundaries. What are we going to consider? The lower boundaries. If you remember, in the more than type, we are considering the lower boundaries, and on x-axis this is cumulative frequency. So this graph stands like this. Okay, now what are we trying to figure out from these graphs? What are we going to figure out from these graphs is nothing but median. Okay, median. How do we calculate the median? If you know, say for suppose if I have a less than ogive, wherein we have upper boundaries on x-axis and cumulative frequency on y-axis. Okay, now say for suppose I'll get the value n by 2, right? If you have a n as 100, 100 by 2 as 50 or some value, if you can plot that on y-axis and draw a line parallel to x-axis and draw a perpendicular from the point where it meets this ogive, less than ogive curve, then this is going to give us the median. Let me repeat. So when you have a curve, when you know what is the frequency count, sum of the frequencies, now if you have the frequency as n by 2 value as 50, we try to locate it on y-axis and draw a line parallel to x-axis. When it meets the curve, draw a perpendicular from that point to the x-axis. That is going to be a median. That is the first method of figuring out median. Let us go to the second method. Second method is nothing but, I told you there are two ogives. So if you draw less than ogive and more than ogive in a single graph, then the point of intersection of those two curves is going to be the point where they intersect. From that point, if you draw a perpendicular, then this is going to be the median. Okay, this is the concept of graphical representation of frequency distribution, which is nothing but our cumulative frequency, wherein we learnt new word which is ogive, which is nothing but the shape of S, the concave ending up as a convex, wherein we learnt about less than ogive, more than ogive, and how to figure out the median from single curve, when you have a single curve and when you have two curves, two ogives. All right, that is about the concept of these ogives. Let's jump into the exercise problems. If you are to solve the exercise problems, I request you guys to please go through the examples first, then start with the exercise. If you have not gone through the examples, just pause this video here, look at the examples, then solve the problems. All right, so I'm going to solve the very first problem in exercise 14.4. Let me read out the problem for you guys. So here it says the following distribution gives the daily income of how many workers? 50 workers of a factory. Convert to less than type and draw ogive. What did I tell you? When we are to draw a less than ogive, we are to consider upper boundaries on x-axis, and on y-axis we need to have cumulative frequency. We have the frequencies here. Let us figure out the cumulative frequency and then draw ogive, less than ogive, with upper boundaries on x-axis and cumulative frequency on y-axis. So let's solve this problem. Okay, first one is daily income, first column. Then we have number of workers. And the last column would be cumulative frequency. All right. So in this section we have, what is the first one? 250 to 300, 300 to 350, 350 to 400, 400 to 450, and 450 to 500, isn't it? Right, the corresponding frequencies are 12, 14, 8, 6, and 10. Okay, now in order to figure out the cumulative frequency, see here, number of workers is given as 50 for us. So if you sum up all this, the answer should end up as 50. That is one way of checking your cumulative frequency should match up with this workers count. All right, first one is 12. 12 plus 15 is 26. Plus 8 is 34, plus 6 is 40, plus 40 plus 10 is 50. By now you should be familiar with how to write cumulative frequency. So now we also need, what do we need while we are to draw the graph? We need coordinates, right? So let me draw one more box for coordinates, wherein for less than ogive, we are going to consider the upper boundaries, which is 300 on x-axis and cumulative frequency 12 on y-axis. So 350 on x-axis and 26 on y-axis. 400 on x-axis and 34 on y-axis. 450 on x-axis and 40 on y-axis. 500 on x-axis and 50 on y-axis. Okay, these are the coordinates which needs to be plotted on the graph. So let me draw x-axis and y-axis. On x-axis, since these are 300, 350, 400, I'm going to consider a scale of 100, 100, 200, 300, 400 and 500. All right. And here from 12, 26, 34, 40, 50. So let me consider a scale of 10 on y-axis. 10, 20, 30, 40 and 50. Okay. What is the first one? 300. This is x-axis and this is going to be y-axis. Y. Okay. Now 300 on x-axis and 12 on y-axis. 300 on x-axis here and 12 will be somewhere around here. So this is a point here. Okay. Now 350 on x-axis and 26. 350 is in between 300 and 400 and 26 is somewhere here. Okay. This is the second point. Next 400 is here. 34. So 34 will be here. Okay. Now 450 on x-axis and 40 on y-axis. So this is somewhere here. And 500 on x-axis and 50 on y-axis. So this is our less than ogive, isn't it? This is our less than ogive. Okay, what is n by 2 here? 25, isn't it? 50 by 2 is nothing but 25. If we locate 25 here and figure out where exactly this particular guy meets the x-axis, then we are to find the median. We can find the median, isn't it? That's what I told you, right? How to find the median using ogive. You need to figure out the value of n by 2, plot it on y-axis, draw a line perpendicular, so parallel to x-axis. When it cuts the graph ogive, draw a perpendicular from that point. You are going to get the median. That's it. So that is about the first problem. So from the graph, I told you, right, how to figure out the median. That is there in second problem. Please do that problem by yourself. I'm going to jump into the next problem, which is third problem. All right. Here I have the third problem already written on the board. Let's go through the problem. The following table gives production yield per hectare of wheat of 100 farmers. Some of the frequencies should be 100. Okay. Change this to more than type curve and draw its ogive. Okay. More than type. If you have not gone through statistics part 3, please go through it. Unless you understand that more than type of cumulative distribution, you will not understand this problem. If you haven't gone through that, please go stop this video right here and go through that and come back to this video. All right. If you have already gone through, then well and good. Let's jump into the solution of the problem. So here the production is given as 50 to 55, 55 to 60, 60 to 65 and so on. Here we are to convert this to a more than type. When we are considering the more than type, I told you that we are going to consider the lower boundaries. So let me draw the box as production yield, number of farmers, and cumulative frequency. So while considering the more than type, as I told you, we will be considering the more than lower boundaries. So that is 50 to 55 can be written as more than or equal to 50 or equal to 50. Okay, more than or equal to 50 is 2. Now more than or equal to, see, I'm using the short notation more than or equal to since it takes time for me here to write this. You please expand this form and write it in your notebook. 55 is 8. More than or equal to 60, 65, more than or equal to 70, more than or equal to 75, and more than or equal to. Okay, that's it. The lower boundary is still 75 itself. 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, and 75. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Now, 2, 8, 12, 24, 38, and 16. If it is a less than type, cumulative frequency, how we used to do? We just used to sum up this. But now this is more than type. So for more than type, the maximum frequency comes in the first place. Why? This is the production yield per hectare of wheat of 100 farms. So this production yield per hectare of wheat, for it, for 1 hectare, this is going to be the number of farmers, right? So more than or equal to 50 is sum of all these farmers together comes up as more than or equal to 50, right? For more than or equal to 50, 50 to 55, 50 to 55 to 60, all of these are going to come into picture. So the summation of all this is nothing but 100 is given for us. All right. Now, more than or equal to 55. Now we know what is more than or equal to 50. We want to know more than or equal to 55. For that, we need to subtract how many? The ones which are available from 50 to 55. That is nothing but 100 minus 2, 98. Likewise, I am telling you, if you have not gone through that more than type in the median class, it is a nightmare for you. So please go through that. As I have already explained that there, I am not going to explain the same here. 98 minus 8 is 90, and then 90 minus 12 is going to be 78, and 78 minus 24 is going to be 7 minus 2 is 5, 4, and then 54, hold on, minus 2 minus 8 minus, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, minus 12, this is minus 24, this is going to be 54 minus 38. 14 minus 8 is 6, 4 minus 3 is 1. Okay, this is about the cumulative frequency. Now, in order for us to draw the ogive of more than type, we will be considering what? Lower boundaries and cumulative frequencies. So, the coordinates will be, okay, let me write the coordinates here on the downside. If you have the place, you can write it here. The coordinates, generally it is supposed to be the last column. Okay, this is going to be 50, 100, and then 55, 98, 60, 90, 65, 78, 70, 54, 75, 16. Alright, this is how the curve is going to be. The coordinates are going to be. So, I am drawing the more than ogive with lower boundaries on x-axis and cumulative frequency on y-axis. I am going to take up a scale of 10 on both the sides. So, this is going to be 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, and 100. Okay, on y-axis also I am going to consider the same: 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, and 100. Okay. Now, what are the coordinates? 50, 100. For 50 on x-axis, we have 100 on y-axis. So, this is going to be here. Next, for 55 on x-axis, we have a value of 98. And for 60 on x-axis, we have a value of 90. All right. Okay. For 60, this is here. For 55, this is here. Okay. Right. And then for 65, we have 78, which is around here. And then for 70, we have 54. 54 is here. For 70, we have 54. This is around here. And for 75, we have 16, which is somewhere here. All right. So let us join the dots. We get a curve like this. And for graphs, scale is mandatory. You please make a note of the scale. On x-axis, 1 unit is equal to 10 centimeters. On y-axis, 1 unit is equal to 10 centimeters. All right. So this is how you need to solve the problems for more than type, more than ogive. For this, keeping this particular problem in mind, I have explained you the more than type in detail in statistics part 3. All right. So that is about this video. Congratulations. We have completed statistics successfully. So Anantha Lakshmi Academy has completed 6 chapters of 10th class mathematics with this. All right. So if you like the content and if you feel that you are able to understand this well, please do circulate these videos in your 10th classmates or any 10th class relatives. So that's all about this video. Please do subscribe to Anantha Lakshmi Academy and thank you for watching.